Hello, guys. Today's first question is, why did the armies of British East India Company, mostly comprising of Indian soldiers, win consistently against the most or the more numerous and better equipped armies of the then Indian rulers? Give reasons. So প্ৰশ্নটোত সুধিছে যে ব্ৰিটিছ ইষ্ট ইণ্ডিয়া কোম্পানী য'ত নেকি আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়ান চলজাৰ্ছখিনিয়ে বেছি আছিল, তেওঁলোকে কেনেকৈ সেইটো সময়ৰ ইণ্ডিয়ান ৰুলাৰ যিবিলাক নেকি বহুত বেছি নাম্বাৰত আছিল বা বেছি বেটাৰ ইকুইপ আছিল, তেওঁলোকক হৰুৱাবলৈ পৰাস্ত কৰিবলৈ সক্ষম হৈছিল? ৰিজনছ দিয়া। So answers, let's come to the answer. Indians were recruited for the British East India Company's army because they were familiar with the conditions in India. Indians were prepared to take lower wages. সেইটো এটা reason আছিল. As a result, the East India Company's overall expenditures were cheaper than those of contracted British army men. কাৰণ আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়ানখিনি অলৰেডি পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ ইণ্ডিয়ান এৰিয়াটোৰ বিষয়ে জানিছিল আৰু ইণ্ডিয়ান এৰিয়াৰ লগতে তেওঁলোকে ইণ্ডিয়াৰ কণ্ডিশ্যনছখিনিও জানিছিল আৰু তেওঁলোকক খুব কম পইচাতেই খটুৱাব পৰা হৈছিল, তেওঁলোকক খুব কম পইচাতেই এই আৰ্মিত নিযুক্ত দিছিল, য'ত নেকি ব্ৰিটিছ আৰ্মিক এটা বৃহৎ পৰিমাণৰ এমাউণ্ট দিবলগীয়া হৈছিল। বিকজ অফ দ্য ইমেন্স ডিষ্টেন্স that separated Britain from India, the British people were not willing to move India. আহিবই নিবিচাৰিছিল। Okay, the English had enforced every available means of war and administrative procedures in order to consolidate their own authority over India. Then after that, superior military and armament strategy. তেওঁলোকৰ ওচৰত নাম্বাৰত কম থাকিব পাৰে, কিন্তু এটা বস্তুত তেওঁলোক বহুত বেছি সক্ষম আছিল, সেইটো হৈছে তেওঁলোকৰ ষ্ট্ৰেটেজি, superior military and armament strategy. The British had cannon and assault rifles that were more advanced in terms of their range and shooting speed than the Indian weapons. Many Indian rulers brought European weapons, but they were unable to develop war strategy like British authorities. British had cannon and assault rifles with long range and shooting speed that is far superior than the Indian weapons. Also, although Indians rulers brought the European weapons, but the war strategy of British authorities are much intellectual, means kind of superior than those of the Indian rulers. Then after that, arm regulation and dedication and consistent remuneration. This is again one reason. The British were very careful about a regular income and rigid code of conduct that guaranteed the loyalty of the commanders and soldiers. The rulers of India lacked the resources necessary to make regular salary payments. Some of the kings were dependent on their own personal guards of unruly and disloyal mercenaries. So ব্ৰিটিছসকলৰ ওচৰত যে আছিল তেওঁলোকৰ কি বুলি কয়, এটা এটা তেওঁলোকে নিশ্চিত ৰাখিছিল যে এটা ৰেগুলাৰ চেলেৰি চবেই যাতে সময়ত পায়, আৰু তাত তেওঁলোকে কোনো ধৰণৰ হেৰি কৰা নাছিল, কোনো ধৰণৰ লেগিং ৰখা নাছিল। Okay, everyone will get their salary at regular time. So the soldiers were in turn, what happened? They will also more loyal to them. And the contrary is happening in the case of our Indian kings. Then after that, effective leadership. Robert Clive, Warren Hastings, Alfred Munro, and other demonstrated exceptional leader traits. The British also profited from the second line commanders like Sir Eyre Cote, Lord Lake, Arthur Wellesley, and others who stand up there for their nation's status and honor, while the Indian side had excellent commanders like Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan, Madhuro, Sindhia, Jaswant Rao Holkar, but they needed a second line of leadership. So leadership is also means comparatively more better than Indian rulers. in the case of British, right? A solid financial foundation was always there. So, like, a great deal of wealth was contributed to England by the British trade, which led to government assistance in the form of money, materials, and other resources. See, whenever war is there, financial foundation is obviously needed, and in the case of British, that was actually very good. Their condition was very good because of the trade, they have a good amount of fund to be used for the war. Even the government assistance was also there. Absence of national pride and unification. Indian rulers lacked a cohesive political nationalism, which the British skillfully exploited to incite civil war among them. So that is the advantage the British took, and they exploited to incite civil war among the Indian rulers themselves. Then the East India Company had a private army. The corporation utilized its armed power to impose terrible taxes, carry out official approved plunderings, subjugate the Indian governments and principalities with which it had previously entered into commercial deal, and defends its economic exploitation, both skilled and unskilled workers. সেইবোৰৰ লগতে আমাৰ যিখিনি আমাৰ ইষ্ট ইণ্ডিয়া কোম্পানী আছিল, এটোতো এটা মেইন ৰিজন হৈ গ'ল যে এবসেন্স অফ নেশ্যনেল প্ৰাইড এণ্ড ইউনিফিকেশ্যন ইন দি কেছ অফ অৰ এমং দ্য ইণ্ডিয়ান ৰুলাৰ্ছ that was skillfully exploited by the British to incite civil war among the Indian rulers themselves. Also, East India Company had a private army. The corporation utilized its armed power to impose the terrible taxes, carry out officially approved plundering, remember, then subjugate Indian governments and principalities with which it had previously entered into commercial deal. Previously commercial deals, now they started exploring the Indian farmers, Indian peasants with terrible tax system, and defend its economic exploitation of both skilled and unskilled Indian workers. So these are the reasons for which we can say that armies of British East India Company, mostly comprising of Indian soldiers, win consistently against the more numerous and better equipped armies of the then Indian rulers. With this, I'm ending this very small session, and with a new question, I'll again come up for this history solve UPSC question. Thank you very much.